Kaspar, today we're going to talk about a Spanish company that is going to be soon a Dutch company. So, which we're going to talk about? Ferrovial, railway, to say so. Why we're going to talk about Ferrovial? Because we always try to do like a more international topic or something. But Ferrovial is in the news, and why is it in the news? Because they're going to leave their listing in Spain, and they agreed. I think this was this Wednesday, right? To get a listing on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange.
Yeah, and the Spanish are not happy with it.
No, they're not happy with it.
They
because,
on ministerial level they send letters to the mostly to the board, but the president of the supervisory board is the son of the founder of the company. It was founded in 1950, and they said if you are leaving Spain, then you have now certain benefits. We will cut those tax benefits. And we help you, we as the government gave you a lot of work, so we help you building up your company, and now you leave us, etc. So it was all over the news, and it was also in the Dutch news, because it has been approved by the shareholder meeting of this Wednesday that they move their headquarters to the Netherlands. Yeah. So it will have a listing on the Dutch stock market, and it will then be within the top 10 biggest companies of the Dutch stock market. Yeah. So it's a big move. So investors that should now be aware of that, and a lot of Spanish investors invest in this company because it's the third largest
building company
of Spain. Yeah. In Holland and probably in other countries, it's not that common company, but it's an important one, and it's an important move. So we are, Martin will talk more about the market on sich in Spain.
In Spain, yeah.
And I will give you some insight in some figures, and I think if you see that, then you know for yourself, is this interesting or not?
Yeah. Yeah, so if we look at the construction market in Spain on itself, there are basically 7 large players. One, I think everybody knows, or not everybody knows, Real Madrid, and the owner of Real Madrid, which is ACS. They are they're double or triple the size of the number 2 and 3. Then you have Acciona. I think they also. I mean, if you go into Madrid or you go to Barcelona on the airport, you always see
the
signs.
With the leaf, no?
Yeah, you see Acciona, you see Ferrovial, you see ACS sometimes. It's known. Billboards, I think, and or toll roads or anything. So they're really, really large players, 7 in total. And if you look in the world, Spain is on the 6th spot on amount of turnover that they generate from the construction business, to say so. First place is of course China, then you have the US.
An absolute sin.
Yeah.
It's really...
So they do a lot. I mean, if it's 60 billion on a yearly basis that they invoice, so that's what you have to think about. 60 billion. Is that a lot? If you compare to Apple, they have a turnover of 390 billion. So it's a lot, but it's not that much. I mean, there's companies that stand above. So the whole Spanish sector is 60 billion, 390 for Apple. So then you can place it a little bit in contrast. The problem for Spain is that Spain is a country that is, of course, very bureaucratic, and when Ferrovial leaves Spain, they're going to lose 285 million of tax income, and they really need tax income, because Spain, we know people get really old here. That is a fact, because it's a healthy climate, to say so. The food is maybe a little bit more healthy, but people get older. So as older people, the pension cost is increasing dramatically, and for that they need income. That is also one of the reasons that needs to come from somewhere. So the Spanish government will probably pick a little bit from the infrastructure side and to be able to keep the people paying their pension. And that, of course, Ferrovial knows that. And that on top of that, if you look at the amount of money that is invested in Spain in infrastructure is about 100 billion. If you compare that to the US, it's 2,000 billion. So there's a big difference. But then on top of that, they have to share that 100 billion with those 7 larger other companies, and Spain is paying very slowly. So that's a big problem. Spain on itself, the productivity here is if you look at all the factors, it's just it's not something to be proud of. I mean, it's not something that I'd like to say, because I'm married to Spanish, I have a lot of Spanish friends, but and it was like, you don't want to bring this up, because it's like, but
figures don't lie.
Figures don't lie. The productivity in Spain is the same as it was about 23 years ago in 2000. If you look at the productivity in the US, it might not be the most efficient, as you said before.
But even then, yeah.
But they have increased their productivity about 20%. So and if
over the last,
it's 23 years. So from 2000 to now. Germany also not an extremely efficient, because they're also that's what everybody say, the German engine, etc. It's also, but they have increased their productivity a lot. And the problem is that Spain is not producing anything. They create a lot of jobs because unemployment rates are good now, but where are the jobs coming from? It's all from
a lot.
Yeah, but then I looked at the fourth jobs are domestic services. So that's I think people that work from home, or people that work at home cleaning houses. So that's also job creation. They maybe become a, so that is the big issue there. And then also if we look at bankruptcies in Europe, the figures are flat.
So if I may interrupt you, we had yesterday a meeting with the Dutch ambassador.
Oh yes.
It's a new ambassador since summer last year, and he said also, if you look at Spain, if you compare Spain, for example, to the Netherlands, there are two main big differences. There is no space in the Netherlands. It's the most crowded country of the world, and there's a lot of space in Spain.
Yeah.
And if you look at the weather, the sun, that shines a couple of days in the Netherlands, and here it shines a lot. So you should be, I think they do it already a lot, wind energy, but they should be focusing on solar energy. They can be like the producer of a lot of energy for whole Europe, and then you produce something. It's not too complex, and it's also something that, of course, if you look at nuclear energy, it takes like 10 years when you have a factory.
You saw that also yesterday with Macron and France and Netherlands, that they're going to build a lot of nuclear.
But that's long term, and you don't have that much time. So solar panel parks, that could be one of the reasons that produces productivity directly, and it's also really good for the environment.
100%.
That's what the ambassador said. So that's
it's not. But I think you had once an interview with another ambassador. I think not the one here before, or the one before that, and he was also actually saying the same thing.
Yeah, and that was 12 years ago.
12 years ago. And then, I mean, obviously, when you go inland, you see also, oh wow, Spain is doing a lot, and you see this massive solar park. But I mean, you can take there's areas in Extremadura. They are huge. Where absolutely nobody is living. They're sort of like flat. You can throw it full with solar panels.
I think if we must say I think that the production of wine, that's an example how they improve the production, because I think they are the largest producer of wine now, and also if you look at the quality, the quality and
Spanish
the price
wines,
quality, it's fantastic. It's an example where that industry made, I think, a huge improvement.
Yeah, but they enjoy the good things in life.
Yeah.
So to finish up the negative story about Spain, it's just a fact, right? I'm not making this up. You see that the bankruptcies after COVID, where Germany, the Netherlands, and everybody tried to keep the companies alive with a lot of help, and then of course in the long term that's good because the companies don't go bankrupt, they keep the people employed, etc. In Spain, they have increased since COVID, March 2020, the bankruptcies with more than 380%. Whilst in the other European countries, it's sort of like flat. So you can see here something is not correct. There's not an entrepreneurial atmosphere here. They don't, you said that, I think the Spanish word, fomentar now, they don't stimulate, they do not stimulate the starting a business. They don't stimulate having a company here. And that's clear. And that's something that hopefully will change, but it's something that will take, I think, a long time.
Yeah, and if you have times, and probably, or there is a high chance that there will be times that it will be because of the pensions, that they need more money. Mm-hmm. So if you start raising taxes again, then it is, you're always losing productivity.
Always.
So
Ferrovial.
Yeah. Ferrovial, so the third largest builder. Nice history. They started in 1950, and the son of the founder is still the president of the supervisory board. Really powerful man. What is his name?
Del Pino.
Yeah, he has a net wealth of around 4 billion, and I think he's in control. I think he, of course, the shareholders in control, but he's a big shareholder still. And they voted last Wednesday to move their headquarters to the Netherlands, and the minister and under ministers, they sent all kind of letters. Don't do it, you will lose your benefits, and we gave you so much. So, but they did it, and I think it's an economical reason. And they said, okay, we want to also have a listing in the US, and through a listing in Amsterdam, it's more easy to have a listing in the US, and the Spanish government said no, that's not true. You can also, blah, blah. I think it's it's only a financial reason. There are already 5 or 6 people working in Amsterdam, and when the headquarters will be there, it will be around 50 people. So not a big thing. And the people that work here on the infrastructure,
they will of course stay here.
Yeah, will stay here, and they will do the same projects probably. 90% of their revenues come outside of Spain already. So it's
South America, no?
South America, North America, not in Northern Europe. So that's why it's also a little bit strange move to go to a North European country, but AAA and they say they have more better access to capital, and they need capital, I think, or they have to refinance all the time, and that's, I think, getting for all the companies that work in that industry. Also real estate, that is really a burden for them.
8 billion a year, huh?
Yeah. So if you look at the revenue side, last 4 years, they're growing with 5 or 10% every year, steady growth, really nice.
That's good.
If you look at the, let's make a jump to the net income, that it's really fluctuating, and shareholders don't like that. If you look at 2020, they made a loss of 400 million. In 2021, a profit of plus 800 million, so that's good. And 2022, a plus of 122 million. And if you look at the 122 million, that's earnings per share of 18 cents. And 80 cents, if you look at the share price at this moment, 27 euro something. I don't know, I can calculate it, but it's a lot.
It's a lot, yes.
If you look at the best years of the last 4 years, that's 2021, there was €1 profit per share, €1.02, and then you have already almost around 27 times the price. And I think that's also a lot. And for next year, 2023, it's expected 42 cents, so it's better than last year. And then you pay 67 times the profit. And that's a lot. And if you dive one layer deeper, if you look at the working capital, I think working capital for those companies is really important. If you look at the last 4 years, it went first up from 3 billion to 3.9, and then it dropped 2.5 and now around 2. So the working capital is getting smaller. I think for those companies that's not a really good sign. And if you look at the total debt and the net debt, the total debt went from 8.8 billion to 11.8 billion in the last 4 years, and the net debt from 3.8 to 6.5. And what you said, they need, so the debt in total is getting bigger. The cost of finance is also getting more expensive. I think that can be the main driver to look for some solutions to find cheaper money.
Yeah. True.
Because they have to refinance all the time, and if your working capital is getting smaller, and also the net income, the net income of a turnover, estimated turnover 7.7 billion in 2023, and the net profit 287, is not
huge.
It's not a lot of margin that you have there.
About 3-4%.
Yeah, not a lot. So if something happens, if there will be a crisis or a small crisis, then it's a risky industry, the building sector.
We know that.
And I think they are one of those.
I think they might have suffered also here in 2022. Of course, the price of the goods.
Of course,
the cost of building has increased tremendously. So that of course you can't put the price up so much. So there's a lot of reasons for it, but that doesn't take away that the figures are what they are.
Yeah. So I think that it's an interesting company if you look at the background and how big they are, and they're working. It's not a Spanish company. It is a Spanish company, but 90% of the revenues come outside of Spain. That's how they say. Yeah, but we keep on doing what we're doing in Spain, but we only move our headquarters. Oh yeah, there was also one thing that one of the ministers said. Yeah, but we must stop with the differences in taxes in Europe and tax havens. And I think that's somebody from Spain said that. Yeah. But within Spain, you have all kind of different taxes in different regions.
Yeah. So start first in your own country, and then.
That argument is not really sustainable. No. So I think interesting move. You gave a really good insight. Unfortunately, in not that good figures part of Spain. I think there are also
it can only become better.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, and I think Ferrovial is an interesting company, but be careful. Do your homework as always, of course. Have a great weekend. It was your time. See you next week.